Hi friends, it's Brenda. Have you ever thought about being your own boss? What's your business idea? And have you ever thought about this? Several years ago, I had wanted to buy a business. Wasn't quite sure what that looked like or what kind of business I wanted to be in. I did a lot of research, like what piques my interest? What is going to get me excited about getting up every day, and not just to own a business to own a business. And because if you're not working for someone else, I want to work for myself, but I want to get up and I want to be happy and I want to look forward to it. I want some excitement and being able to build my own financial future and being in charge of my life, taking my life back and not feel like I am being governed by everything else, my employer, the government, and all that stuff. So I sat out on this journey of like, what kind of business am I looking at and what makes me happy and excited about owning a business. So doing my research, that was around the time of the rise of Airbnbs. And so I actually had went to a couple different locations and scouted out some properties, was running numbers, trying to make sure that we were able to have some good cash flow. And around that same time, I stumbled upon this opportunity that I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today, kind of a secret hidden gem in the realm of business owning and working for yourself and creating your own stable financial future. So we live in Colorado and love this state. I've been here ever since I was 3 years old, well into my 50s now, and really thought about what does retirement look like. So not only had I kind of dabbled into the thought of owning some Airbnbs and having some passive income that way, with the right marketing plan and setup, that it can be passive and it can also be a lot of hands-on. We always came to the western side of the state in the Grand Junction area to vacation. And we had came over because we were coming over for the Wine Fest every year. There's 32 wineries currently in the valley here. It's a pretty amazing area to visit. So if you haven't been, mark that on your calendar and then give me a call because I will help you find a place to stay, my place. So we came over, and when I was looking for places to stay, I wanted to stay in a bed and breakfast. And the reason is because I kind of thought that's something I would like to do in retirement. So when we came over, we had found a place. We had booked this place. It's called Castle Creek Bed and Breakfast at the time. And we stayed here, talked to the owners. They had it for sale. And so the whole 4-hour drive back home, I'm like, okay, I technically have a few years left with state government before I can do my full retirement. How would that even happen? And my husband had just started working from home part-time. And we just got to talking, and we talked about quality of life, work-life balance. And I had been struggling for a few years and just kind of feeling lost, not feeling like I was in the right place, but didn't know what that looked like outside of working for the government, and didn't know where my passion lied. And prior to that, we had stayed at a bed and breakfast for a New Year's event where we participated in a murder mystery. And at that time, that planted a seed in my head about that would be fun to own a bed and breakfast, live on site, meet people from all over. I get to cook, I get to bake. I love people. So I'm an extrovert. I love people. I love the area here. This was going to be our retirement area destination anyways, and this just kind of helped get us here a little sooner. And so having stayed at that bed and breakfast and kind of started giving some thought about it, and then this place was open when we came here for the Wine Fest in 2019, and got talking to the owners and finding it was for sale, and then driving home, talking to my husband for a good 4 hours about like, how could we even do this? And he said, you know what? Here's the green light. If you can figure out and how we can make the money work for us, and kind of what our goals are as a couple and where we want to be, and if it works, then you can walk away from your career early. So I thought to myself, all right, let's just see. Let's put pencil to paper and we'll see if it works. Well, after spending some time talking about, like what's my retirement plan look like? What am I going to do with that? Going from a guaranteed paycheck to not having a paycheck, what does that look like? Granted, we would live on site and the business should be able to pay for all of its own bills, including the mortgage and everything else. So kind of figuring that out, the numbers worked. And so took a leap of faith, very calculated leap of faith. And my husband and I decided to put an offer in. It got accepted and we sold our home and decided to move to the opposite side of the state for this opportunity to be business owners and for me to run the business. My husband at that time was working more from home than he was in the office for his company that he worked for. So it allowed us to come over here and we bought the business. We closed on Castle Creek. Now we've renamed it, so it's Castle Creek Manor Bed and Breakfast. It didn't have Manor before. We wanted to put our own spin on it. We did our own logo, and we closed January 2nd of 2020. Well, we all know what happened in 2020. So with that being said, that was a little nerve-wracking going from a paycheck to no paycheck. You work for yourself. We were pretty smart when we decided to take the leap of faith. We calculated our expenses and we were able to afford all of our personal expenses under my husband's paycheck and a little extra in case something happened with the business, because neither one of us had ever owned a business before. I always had the desire, but never took the leap of faith of doing it. So when we went through the whole 2020 world crisis, things slowed down. We had some good 6 weeks of no guests, starting April 15th, and for about 6 weeks, no guests. And then an amazing thing happened. People started traveling again. Not international, a lot of locals, a lot of domestic travel, people just getting in their car and wanting to get some fresh air, some fresh scenery, kind of, explore. And then that was the rise of the RV world. So I have some friends who own an RV park. So it's exciting to have seen that for them blossom into something pretty amazing. So we are now coming up on our 5th anniversary, January 2nd of 2025. It'll be 5 years. And we've learned a lot. We are living our best lives, and we are so incredibly thankful that this opportunity came about. And not only did it come about, but we jumped on it. And we don't have any regrets. We've actually had family move closer to us. Some family, aren't able to because they have jobs and responsibilities where they're at. So it's an amazing adventure. Being your own boss, I can't even explain how freeing that is. And I know some people talk about, own a business, run a business, and it's great tax benefits. But I want to come on here and say, it's got to be something you're passionate about. If you hate baking and you're not going to buy a bakery. If you don't like people, don't be in a business where you have daily interactions with people, especially in person, because they can read your body language. So I truly want to drive home the notion that it has to be something you're passionate about. This is something I'm truly passionate about. And it's actually a full circle time of my life, because one of the the first job I had was working at a restaurant being a hostess, and then I was a waitress. Well, then I got into the hospitality industry and working in hotels. and did that before I got my degree. And then I worked for state government. But this has kind of taken me back, even though I'm not at a hotel. I am the only bed and breakfast in Grand Junction, so it's kind of a niche. My biggest competition are the hotels around. So my goal and what I try to do is I pull couples. That's my demographic, couples. So we don't do children and we don't do pets here. I love kids and I love pets, but we provide an atmosphere free of that. So it's amazing. So we are competing against hotels. And so I want to provide a very unique opportunity for people to come on vacation, to relax, to have quietness. We only have 5 king suites. So all of our rooms are about 500 square feet. We have 5, so 4 upstairs and 1 on the main level, and we live here. And so talking about tax benefits, I have an office space. This is part of my office space. We actually took this part of the house and divided it in 2, and my husband has his office and I have mine, where he works over there and I work over here. So just like thinking about, our future and what does this look like and how long are we going to own the business and run the business. And so we have that, and I'll talk about that in a future video, and how our business minds are kind of focused on the future and what that looks like and how long we're going to run the business. And during these economic downturns and what's going on with the world today, I think it's important to have work-life balance. You really should try to do something. I mean, people talk about side hustles all the time. I don't think I could have done this as a side hustle, but there are people around the world who own bed and breakfast, who work outside the bed and breakfast, and by gosh, I don't know how they do it, because I don't have staff. And that's the other thing, is we do everything on our own. So everything that I do, I 90% run the business, and my husband helps me in his free time, which is usually evenings and weekends. So I do all the cooking and the cleaning, and I save costs that way. But pretty much all of our expenses that we do in association with a bed and breakfast are tax deductible. And so just so you know, like, I'm not giving you tax advice. Please talk to a tax professional if this is a business model that you're kind of more interested in. If you would like to leave me a comment below, that would be great. I'll also put my email below, where you can send me an email if you have more questions. I'm going to do a whole series of what it's like to own a bed and breakfast. Over the years, because of the rise of Airbnb, unfortunately, the traditional bed and breakfasts have gone wayside. Some of that's due to that pressure in the market. The other part of it is that people are retiring and they're choosing to either stay in their home or sell their home as a private residence and not sell it as a business. So there's some different nuances to this business model, but we fully plan to sell ours as a business when the time comes, when we are ready to do a different part of our life in retirement, and whatever that we decide that entails. But anyways, that's just kind of an introduction into how we became business owners and how I can't talk enough about working for yourself. I am looking at different things to expand our horizons, I guess you could say. We do invest in real estate, very small though. Like, we have 1 rental right now. We're looking to do a second one, but we're waiting for the right time, as we all know, to make sure that it's a right fit for us. And it hasn't been, even though we've been ready to pull the trigger the last year or so. We have our ducks in a row. We're ready to go when the time is right. And it's timing that to where it fits in your lifestyle, and it's different for everybody. But I just can't talk enough about how this has been life-changing and amazing for us to own our own business, to have that freedom, to set our own schedule to some extent. We do, since we don't have staff, we are a little bit tied to the business during the busy months, which is usually April to October, and then we slow down November to March. And we just do different things. We take vacation when people don't take vacations, and so That's been adventurous for us to check out places that tend to be less busy because there's not a lot of traffic and people visiting around that time. But anyways, it was great to talk to you today for a little bit about our beginning of our adventure. And so I'm hoping you like this video. If you do like it, please click the like button and subscribe below. Again, send me an email. I'm going to leave my email link below, or leave a comment below if you have any questions. I'm going to be doing a whole series on what it's like to own a bed and breakfast and this different type of business model that might be intriguing to you. And hopefully I'll hear from you. Send me a quick note and talk to you later. Thank you. Have a great day.